My parents were blatant in their favoritism. They pushed my younger sister into the wealthy union while packing me off to work abroad. Shortly after she married, her husband, a spoiled rich kid, got caught on camera beating a disabled waiter at a restaurant. Then, his family's business crumbled under a product scandal, and they spiraled into ruin. My sister and her husband ended up as beggars on the street. Meanwhile, I married a struggling screenwriter abroad. To everyone's shock, his hit series blew up, connecting us with A-list directors. Our future looked limitless. Years later, I returned home as a Hollywood star. I saw my sister, ragged and homeless. In a fit of madness, she threw herself at me, dragging me into oncoming traffic. I died under the wheels of a massive truck. When I opened my eyes, I was back at a dinner table. The man sitting opposite me, claiming to be my husband, was none other than the brother-in-law from my past life. I looked up just in time to see my sister, arm in arm with my husband, walking out of the restaurant and flashing me a triumphant, wicked grin. I felt a wave of dizziness, and when I blinked, a Cartier gift box sat before me. The young man across the table smiled. It was my brother-in-law. The shock made my head ring like a bell. A familiar voice echoed from across the room. "Waiter, check please." I turned to see my husband Holden gently pulling my sister close. She draped herself over his arm, and they walked right past me toward the door. In a haze, I heard her whisper, "Welcome to the hell of the elite, sis. Your turn to suffer." Suddenly, fragmented images flashed through my brain like a movie on fast forward. The memories of my past and present collided like a tidal wave. It wasn't just a rebirth, we had switched lives. I now had to call the man jabbering away in front of me my husband. "Sienna, why are you so quiet? Don't you like the bracelet? My parents had their first date at this restaurant. It's small, but the food is incredible, especially the soup." As he spoke, a weather-beaten middle-aged man limped over, carrying a bowl of soup. He glanced at our expensive attire, slammed the bowl down with a scowl and muttered, "Rich kids coming to a dive to show off." Hot broth splashed onto my hand, making me gasp. Holden was on his feet in an instant, grabbing the waiter by the collar to demand an apology. The waiter was just as fiery, swearing at him. Tempers flared, and it only stopped when the owner rushed out, bowing and apologizing profusely. It all happened too fast. I couldn't stop it. In my past life, I watched the viral videos of this exact incident from abroad. My brother-in-law and sister were doxxed and ruined by an angry mob. I never imagined that in this timeline it would start because of me. My phone rang. It was my sister Scarlett. I answered. "Sister, did you enjoy the soup I sent your way? You spent your last life living it up abroad while I endured hell. Now it's your turn to taste the gutter." I dragged Holden back to the country early just to make sure I didn't miss the show. Ha ha ha. I hung up before she could finish laughing. Life is a movie you can't edit. Every choice is a foreshadowing of the future. You think you can control me just because you came back early? The next morning, Holden and I went downstairs. His father had already instructed the staff to prepare breakfast, just like every other day. "Sienna, sit here. I had the housekeeper make your favorite sunny-side-up eggs." Seeing him load my plate, my eyes welled up. My parents in both lives were exactly the same. Even though we were both their children, they only ever cared for Scarlett. At the Zhao house, I was the one who made breakfast while Mom helped Scarlett get dressed. After the meal, it was always the same order. Clean the table and wash the clothes. And Mom would always add, "Your sister's new dress needs hand washing. Don't you dare put it in the machine." Scarlett bullied me daily, always justifying it with, "You're the older sister. You're supposed to let me have my way." Day after day, I broke down. "Why can't you care about me? I'm your child too." I begged for love, but they only gave me blame and slaps. "You're the big sister. How can you be so selfish and inconsiderate?" After that, I learned silence. I stopped seeking warmth so I wouldn't have to feel the cold. Holden's complaints pulled me back to reality. "Dad, I want eggs too. Eat what's there. Those are for Sienna. If you want some, tell the housekeeper tomorrow." "Dad, am I even your son?" "You brat. What's the family motto?" "Cherish your wife, love your wife. The wife is the only true faith." Watching the father and son, my heart softened. People had claimed Holden was arrogant and bullied the poor kids in school, but it didn't seem true. And the rumors about his father's tax evasion? Probably lies too. Regardless, I craved this warmth. Crash! A heavy object hit the door. The butler burst in looking panicked. "Sir, it's bad. The video of the young master hitting the waiter went viral. An angry mob has surrounded the house and smashed the front gate." In my last life, this took a week to spiral. This time, it exploded overnight. I had a bad feeling and checked my phone. The trending hashtags were all focused on the term rich kid. Hashtag rich kid beats disabled waiter. Hashtag do the rich care about the poor. Hashtag entitled rich brats. Hashtag does being rich make you God. I scanned a few articles. There was definitely a mastermind behind this. The big influencers were working together, selectively editing clips. They showed the waiter limping over, Holden hitting him, and then extreme close-ups of our Cartier box and the luxury car outside. That was the manipulator's sick goal. Being violent wasn't the crime, being rich was. They were weaponizing people's jealousy and sympathy. My chair clattered to the floor as Holden stood up in a rage. "They're framing me." The waiter had an attitude and splashed hot soup on Sienna. "I just taught him a lesson. I barely touched him. I'm going out there to deal with those losers." Living with Holden, I knew he had lost his mother young. He was impulsive, but he had a kind heart. He wasn't a villain. "Dad, I'm going out with him." "Go. Keep him from doing something stupid. I'll change and be right out." I had underestimated the power of mob fury. I tried to pull Holden back, but we were bombarded with rotten eggs. He pulled me into his arms, shielding me with his own back. The stench of egg yolk dripped off his shoulders. We were drowning in hate, defenseless and humiliated. When his father came out, he tried to apologize and promised to compensate the waiter. The apology only added fuel to the fire. "Money can't buy everything. Do you think you can kill people because you're rich? Death to the rich." They realized the situation was spiraling far beyond their control. I ushered them back inside. Their presence only made the crowd more aggressive. More importantly, I spotted Scarlett in her red dress at the back of the crowd. I smirked and walked toward her. I pushed through the crowd and stood face to face with Scarlett. "Did you like the edit your influencers put together?" Seeing her twisted smile, I remembered my past life. She loved hiding behind our parents, using a pathetic voice to make them hate me. Once they were gone, she'd turn on me with that same malicious grin. "I'm taking everything you own. You're the older sister. You have to let me win, or else you'll get hit." I grabbed her wrist hard, leaving red marks on her pale skin. "Scarlett, while I'm still feeling patient, get these thugs out of here. If you don't, I'll hire 100 private investigators to shadow you. Let's see how long your reputation holds up. If a celebrity gets doxxed, wouldn't that be a better headline?" Her face turned deathly pale, but she still bluffed. "You wouldn't dare dare ruin my career. Mom and Dad would rip you apart. Are you stupid? I'm a sterling wife now. I have money. What can they do to me? She didn't concede, but her actions spoke louder. She made a call, and within minutes, the thugs were cursing and scattering. Scarlett, this is my home. Those are my people. Cross me again, and don't blame me for taking you down with me. I went back inside to find my father-in-law glued to his phone and Holden sitting there like a deflated balloon. Honey, those people are doing this on purpose. You know what happened at the restaurant. Seeing him so hurt, I felt a pang of pity. Holden, I'm here. I won't let anything happen to you. His father sighed. Times have changed. I'm too old for this. My apology just made it worse. Dad, in the eyes of the public, innocence isn't proven. It's compared. Leave this to me. Just rest at home for a few days. Sienna, are you sure? Maybe we should hire a big PR firm. Holden defended me blindly. Dad, Sienna said she can handle it. Why hire outsiders? Mom used to run this family. Now that she's gone, Sienna is the boss. Follow the rules. His father was speechless. I looked at them with determination. Don't worry, Dad. I'll make this trending disaster disappear. When it comes to crisis management, no one is better than my old friend. Only I knew how much I suffered during my time in the limelight in my past life. My marriage to Derek had been nothing but a mutual utilization, common in the entertainment industry. But there was one friend I cherished, Jasper. He was my sharp-tongued manager, but secretly my business partner. We met on a Hollywood set when he was a struggling reporter. He had principles, a backbone, and a razor-sharp brain. I invited him to start a firm with me. It became successful, and he used the power of public opinion to make me a star. My driver pulled up to a suburban apartment building. Unit 1, Building 15. This was his old office address before I went abroad. He ran a small PR brand, but it folded because he refused to cross ethical lines. Jasper, we're meeting early in this life, and we're partners again. I wasn't done working with you in my last life, old friend. I rang the bell. The door opened, revealing a room cluttered with desks, broken computers, and takeout containers. 4 young men were smoking, filling the room with haze. I recognized young Jasper immediately. Scruffy beard, piercing eyes. Are you at the wrong door, miss? I'm here to see you, Jasper. The hand holding his cigarette froze. Who are you? What do you want? Name's Sienna. I'm here to start a company with you. For once in 2 lives, I finally saw Jasper speechless. During the next hour, Jasper looked at me like I was an alien. I agreed to every condition he threw at me, and he realized I understood him better than he understood himself. 2 hours later, Alliance Media was born. Our first client was the boss himself, my husband. No haggling, full payment, instant transfer. The men in the room gawked at the $2 million that hit the account. I smiled. Once this is cleared, everyone gets a $50,000 bonus. Applause broke out. Boss Sienna is the best. So powerful. Following you, the hard times are finally over. I cleared my throat. All right. The situation is tight. Let's get to work. Jasper in battle mode was unstoppable. I knew his rhythm by heart, so I watched him delegate. The trend is clearly orchestrated. Fatty, find out which agency is behind this. On it. The public doesn't buy simple apologies anymore. We need to attack the opponent. Listen to boss Sienna. Call me Sienna. I told you that's what you used to call me. Right. Sienna. If there's a mastermind, there's profit involved. Monkey, investigate the waiter. Easy. Brick, you're the tech genius. Get the truth about Holden's bullying in school. Video footage, preferably. Piece of cake. Jasper looked at me. There's coffee. I'm going to handle the influencers. They're greedy. They'll sell out anyone for a better price. Watching them work, my heart felt full. It felt like heaven was compensating for my past life. Life is worth living, and I was going to give it my all. Scarlett, you picked your opening move. Now it's my turn. To keep these warm people in my life, I wouldn't back down an inch.
Jasper moved fast. Within 48 hours, the truth began surfacing. The first bombshell came from Monkey. He dropped a thick folder onto my desk. The waiter isn't innocent. I opened it. The disabled waiter, Victor Hale, had been involved in 7 similar incidents over the past 3 years. Every single one followed the same pattern. He deliberately provoked wealthy customers. A confrontation occurred. Someone secretly filmed it. The footage went viral. Then a mysterious marketing company would appear and profit from the outrage. My eyes narrowed. A professional victim. Monkey grinned. Exactly. Jasper snapped his fingers. Keep digging. Meanwhile, Rick uncovered something even bigger. The supposed stories about Holden bullying poor students? Fake. Edited. Manufactured. The original school security footage showed Holden stopping a group of boys from beating a scholarship student. The viral clips had simply removed the first 10 minutes. The office erupted. We got them. Those bastards are finished. But Jasper remained calm. No. Everyone looked at him. He pointed at the evidence. This isn't enough. They don't hate Holden because of facts. They hate him because he's rich. The room fell silent. He was right. People believed what they wanted to believe. Facts alone wouldn't save us. Jasper smiled. We need a bigger villain. 3 days later, Fatty burst into the office. Sienna, we found the mastermind. He threw photographs across the table. Every photo featured the same person. A handsome man in designer suits. The owner of Brightwave Media. The agency controlling most of the influencers attacking Holden. My blood froze. I recognized him immediately. Derek. My former husband. The screenwriter from my previous life. In this timeline, he wasn't successful yet. He was still struggling. Still ambitious. Still willing to do anything for money. And standing beside him in every photograph. Scarlett. My sister. Jasper whistled. Looks like the happy couple. I stared at the photos. Past life. Present life. Everything clicked together. Scarlett hadn't simply switched lives with me. She had deliberately chosen Derek. She knew his future success. She thought she had stolen my destiny. Unfortunately for her, she forgot something. Derek's success wasn't entirely his own. In my previous life, I had introduced him to investors. I had paid his rent. I had connected him with directors. Without me, he was just another struggling writer. A week later, Alliance Media struck. At exactly 8 a.m., every major platform exploded. Hashtag the truth about the restaurant. Hashtag professional victim exposed. Hashtag brightwave manipulation. Hashtag who paid the influencers. The internet went insane. Evidence poured out nonstop. Video footage. Financial records. Chat logs. Screenshots. Every piece verified. Victor's repeated scams. The influencer payments. Brightwave's involvement. And most devastating of all, Scarlett's private messages. Push the disability angle harder. Make them look like monsters. The richer they seem, the angrier people get. The backlash was immediate. People felt manipulated. The mob that had targeted Holden suddenly turned around. Now they wanted someone new. Scarlett. Derek. Brightwave. The very weapon they had used against others came crashing back onto them. By nightfall, Brightwave had lost most of its clients. By the end of the week, 3 major investors withdrew funding. By the end of the month, the company was drowning. Then came the final blow. The product scandal. Just like my previous life. Except this time it happened to Derek. Desperate for cash, he had accepted money to promote an unsafe health supplement. Thousands of complaints surfaced. Government investigations followed. Lawsuits arrived like sharks smelling blood. Brightwave collapsed. Derek's dream died overnight. And Scarlett? She was still trying to save face online. Until someone leaked her old school records. Her history of bullying. Her lies. Her manipulation. Her entire carefully crafted image shattered. The entertainment companies dropped her one by one. Sponsors vanished. Friends disappeared. Even our parents couldn't help. Because by then, they had already chosen a side. Not Scarlett's. Mine. The day they arrived at the Sterling mansion, both looked 10 years older. My mother cried. Sienna, we were wrong. My father couldn't even meet my eyes. For the first time in my life, they looked ashamed. I felt nothing. No hatred. No joy. Just emptiness. Some wounds heal. Others become scars. And scars don't disappear because someone finally apologizes. Months later, Holden and I attended a film premiere. As we exited the theater, I noticed 2 familiar figures across the street. Scarlett. And Derek. Dirty clothes. Sunken faces. Holding cardboard signs. Exactly like my previous life. Scarlett spotted me. For a moment, her eyes filled with the same madness I remembered from the truck. I tensed. So did Holden. But this time was different. She looked at the security guards. Looked at the cameras. Looked at the crowd. Then slowly lowered her head. The arrogance was gone. The hatred was gone. All that remained was defeat. She whispered hoarsely. You won. I shook my head. No. You lost to yourself. Tears spilled down her face. I turned away. Holden wrapped an arm around my shoulders. You okay? I smiled. For the first time across 2 lifetimes, I truly was. Behind us, Scarlett's sobs faded into the night. Ahead of us waited the lights of the city. My family. My friends. Jasper. The company we'd built together. And the man who had stood beside me when the whole world hated him. Some people spend their lives chasing stolen destinies. Only to discover that destiny was never the prize. The real prize was the people who loved you when everything else was gone. Hand in hand, Holden and I walked forward. And this time, neither of us looked back.